Hello, welcome back to another Pen Talk. Thank you very much for tuning in, spinning that YouTube dial onto my channel, and joining me as I explore the amazing, incredible, colorful, wide world of pens. And you see rotating in front of you a recent model from Jinhao, the Model 82. I wasn't going to get one, but a bunch of people talked about it. I really enjoyed JG3's review. I'll put a link in the description. So I had to get some. And of course, I just don't buy one. I buy more than one. So I got some colors. And I think the colors are really nice. That yellow reminds me a lot of Esterbrook's Nurse pen. But they're really good. They have a standard number 5 Jinhao nib, which has been around forever, since the 992s, and has always been a consistent writer in my hand. But we're going to explore this a little bit differently. Let's start with the unboxing, as Mr. Crab gives you a wink. And yes, I got some pens delivered today. As we flip it over, we'll see it's Orange Connects, which means it's something I bought on eBay, shipped to me from China, relabeled in the US. So it was delivered in about 2 weeks, which is very, very nice. So we're going to make certain everything's pushed down, and we're going to slice open the envelope. It feels nice and cushiony. And we're going to take out, I know what it is, but you may not. A lot of cellophane packaging here, bubble wrap. Trying to find the beginning part. There we go. Whoop, and there we have it. 4 pens. They've arrived safely. They're Jinhao 82s, and I wanted 4 because I wanted to see different colors. And I think you can Frankenize them, and we'll find out. So we're going to explore these pens. I like the colors, and we'll see how good they write and whether they're worth your interest. As you probably figured out, I enjoy writing with this pen. I love the ergonomics, I love the way it feels in my hand, and I replaced the Jinhao fine nib with this calligraphy nib, my first number 5 calligraphy nib I've been writing with, and I just love the way it puts down ink. It's extremely smooth, but yet still gives you some nice feedback. To me, that's what a perfect nib is. So you may ask, Chris, how does the Jinhao 82 compare with the Sailor Pro Gear Slim? Well, here we have the Pro Gear Slim in a glitter purple, and I have it because of the color. And if we compare it to the Jinhao, we'll see they're almost exactly the same length, have the same type of finials. The clip is different, cap band is different. The Pro Gear Slim is just slightly larger diameter, but not by much. If we take off the caps, they come off in a similar number of turns, and we'll see a similar size nib. Obviously, this one's been replaced with a blue calligraphy nib, and the Sailor, it's a nice 14 karat gold nib. In this case, it's a hard medium fine. We see they engrave it at the side of the nib. Sections are also a little different, but it still has that metal ring between the barrel and the section. So there's always a discussion about the feel of a pen in the hand. And I have to be very honest. If you blindfolded someone, no matter who they were, and you gave them these two pens and told them they were two different pens, they would be very, very challenged to tell the difference between them from just a feel alone. There's only a gram difference in weight, so that's not significant. And the surface feels pretty much the same. Precious resin, it's injection molded plastic. Let's be honest about what this material is. High quality injection molded plastic, that's a very subjective term. But there's no mold marks. The color is very consistent, and both of them look nice. The big difference is the finial at the top of the Sailor has a nice anchor, the logo for Sailor. Other than that, and an extra cap band, but other than that, considering the price difference between these two pens, they are more alike than dissimilar. So one of the other main differences between the Sailor to the left that has a black section versus the Jinhao, where this section is the same color as the barrel and the cap. To me, having the same black section allows you to have less parts. Whereas if you have to have the section the same color as the body and cap, you need more inventory units. I don't understand why Sailor and other pen manufacturers, Parker is one, comes to mind, don't just put a cavity in the mold that does the barrel and the cap for the section, so when they injection mold that resin, they get a section the same color. I prefer a section the same color as the barrel. That's me. How do you feel about that? So I've disassembled the 82 as much as I'm going to do. One of the comments I've sent in Facebook is whether you could Frankenize the pen, but these two finials seem to be glued in place, don't come off, unlike most of the 100s where you can Frankenize all different parts. I think they did a great job with this section here. You have a nice O-ring there, nice metal insert, glued in place. Standard Jinhao converter, which works well. This number 5 nib from Jinhao, a number of these I've written with them all. I think they do a good job, just like they do with their standard number 6. Your typical injection molded plastic feed. You have a nib collar here, which has that great little Chariot logo on it, and it had a nice little O-ring at the bottom. So overall, very, very good details, very good engineering, manufacturing, fit and finish, everything else. But what if you don't like an extra fine or fine number 5 nib? Well, here's my number 5 card. I have a number 6 here, bookending a series of number 5 nibs, mediums, 0.7s, a whole series of stubs up to some that are very, very wide. Then, of course, if you want a fude, there's a fude. And we also have some calligraphy styles with some really nice tipping material that's been ground. We've used a number of nibs with that type of grind. This is the first number 5 that we may use. And I think the blue one's going to find itself in the 82. How many nibs do you have that you could replace in your pens? So some consider the 82 an updated version of the 992. They do share that number 5 nib, but I think the quality of the 82 is substantially better, as Jinhao seems to have upped their game on all their recent new models. Of course, this one is resembling of a Japanese pen, Pro Color, we may say. Say no more. So Jinhao has really been using this avocado green color in a lot of their pens. Here we have 3 of them, the 82, the 80, and the X159. Here's a matte finish. And if I had to pick one of these 3 pens to be the only pen I'd ever write with, it would obviously be the 82. Because I just like it. It feels great in the hand. Excellent writing. I think the 80 is the number 2. And as much as I like the X159, for long writing sessions, the design and feel of these two in the hand, in my hand, is superior. So I really think Jinhao has done an excellent job in choosing the colors of the injection molded plastic used to make these Jinhao pens. Black, classic, in silver, avocado green, red, and yellow. Now, since I bought these, they also have gold trim, and they also have now some transparent colors, which has excited some of the Facebook followers of the pen. Dean has ordered all of them in the transparent color. And as we talk about how this pen writes, you may understand why an artist like Dean would want to have a number of these pens. That's what we'll explore as we continue on with our adventure. So obviously I'm going to use an ink I've not put in any pen before. It's part of the recent 6 bottles I bought of Chinese ink. This is a nice dark kind of teal color, and I was able to get a pretty full fill in this standard Jinhao converter. And in case I didn't mention, there's a nice O-ring there at the bottom of that section, so when you screw down the barrel, it seats up against that O-ring and feels really nice in that final touchdown. And I did put in that blue calligraphy nib, and it does have great tipping material. I love these new calligraphy nibs that they've been making in China. Say no more. What a blue color too. I said say no more, but I said more. So what we see in front of us are 3 recent Jinhao fountain pens that they've come out with. They share an interesting amount of things in common. Number 1, they all emulate, look like, resemble existing pens that are not made in China. Number 2, they're all the classic black and silver color combinations. Number 2, they all have a number in their model name. You know, the 82, X159, and the 80. This one has a brush finish, matte finish. This one's piano black, as they may refer to it as, and this one is also a similar color. These also come in many colors. So why did these happen to be pens that Jinhao decided that they would sell? Well, here's a tray that I have, which I would consider to be classic Chinese designed pens, and they probably do not have as much appeal to the Western market, number 1. Number 2, I think that the Chinese market is also looking towards a more Western style design for their fountain pens. Henceforth, Jinhao has released these 3. People talk about, they should have put a piston filler in the X159, and I go, no. Number 1, Jinhao doesn't have a piston fill pen, so that would be a new technology for them to incorporate into their pen manufacturing process. And number 2 is piston fillers are something that a lot of people seem to think they want, and then they complain about them. Difficult to clean out. Well, I personally find them difficult to clean out, difficult to disassemble, and if anything happens to that piston fill mechanism, relatively difficult to replace or repair, whereas with a cartridge converter pen, which these 3 are, you have a simple converter which costs very little money, and we generally have tons of them floating around because most of all these pens come with converters, and you can buy a crap load of them if you want to for a very little bit of money if you need some spares. Or you could put a cartridge in, not something I do, but other people do it and they like it. So henceforth, I'm fine with the cartridge converter pen, which these 3 are. So let's continue on and explore more. So we've explored this pen, talked about why it may exist. It's a good writer. If you want to see the writing of the original fine nib that comes with this Jinhao 82, I suggest you watch JG3's review. I enjoy supporting my fellow pen reviewers on YouTube. I certainly enjoy watching their videos, and it helps me use, appreciate, and enjoy my pens more. And also, it helps me make my videos better. I would be remiss if I didn't give kudos and credit to my fellow YouTube reviewers. Speaking of fellow YouTube reviewers, I have no pens purchased in 2023. I don't have anything waiting to be delivered. I am trying to say I will buy no pens in 2023. I know that's a tough thing to do, but right now that's my intention, and we'll see how I live up to it. I could say New Year's resolution, but I don't believe in those or follow those. So these are 4 pens that I highly recommend. They come in many colors. They now come in transparent, which Twain Twain on Facebook was really excited about. They also now come with gold trim. I may have mentioned that before. They're small, but then the Sailor Pro Gear Slim is small, and this diameter is actually just 0.1 millimeters smaller than the Pro Gear, so it's not really that much of a difference in that dimension. And like I said, within 1 gram of weight. Posts very deep, very securely, so if you're a poster, this is a perfect pen for you. And as we saw, there's millions of number 5 nibs you could swap in there. Very easy to swap them in if you want to change the writing characteristics from the extra fine or fine that the pen comes with. So we've reached the end of this video. I want to thank all of you for watching. I hope this video finds everyone safe, healthy, and happy, enjoying your pens, be they new, be they old, be they borrowed, be they blue. That was pretty bad. But that's the way life is. Just enjoy it. I mean, you only get one of them, so you might as well enjoy it as well as you can. So we've reached the end of this video, and we're going to say bye. Don't know what the next video is going to be, but we'll come up with something.